So in this video, we're going to be going over two-way data binding. Whereas before we went over one-way data binding, even though we didn't explicitly say it, now we're going to be going over two-way data binding. So what's the differences between the two? Well, one-way data binding essentially allows us to take our model and map it to our view element, right? Which is what we've been doing. We took a model element or a variable from our model, let's say title or subtitle, and we mapped it to our a DOM element, which was in this case H1 for the title and H2 for our subtitle. And we saw how that one-way data binding was affected with this ng-click. So two-way data binding, actually not only do we have our model affecting our view, but we have our view affecting our model. So what exactly does that mean? Well, before I show you how that works and what it means, I want to show you how our index and our control files have changed since the last video. So you'll notice before in this paragraph tag, I had Thomas plus and then space and then Brown. Well, I've changed it to a variable. Now I have first name variable and last name. And I've mapped those in my control file to Thomas and Brown, which is why it's outputting the same thing. So now let's go into how we're going to work with two-way data binding. So the easiest way to show you how two-way data binding works is with an input tag. So I'm going to put in an input tag. And in order to work with two-way data binding, we need to use our ng model directive. And this will essentially map or bind a variable to a particular DOM element. In this case, it's our input. So ng model, and I'm going to bind this first one to tutorial object first name. And then I'm going to, put a label just to make this clear. Label, let's see, first name. Great, so then I'm just going to copy and paste this one. And I'm going to put last name. And then this one is going to be last name. Great, and so now, I'm going to just put a break tag. So now when I refresh it, you'll notice I have Thomas working right here, right? It's initialized. This is one way. My input is mapped to first name, so it's Thomas. And my input is mapped to last name, so it's Brown. So that's one-way data binding. So to show you that it is in fact two-way, if I alter this, then this string should change, right? Because we're binding it to this first name variable. So let's see. So Robert, and you'll notice it changes instantly. And this is super powerful, guys. It's really, really, if you've never worked with, or if you've ever worked with any other kind of dynamic stuff with HTML, you know how hard that is to do normally. So this is very powerful. That is two-way data binding at work. I also want to note that you could, in fact, map the same variable to both input boxes. So I could say, first name, and then I could refresh it. And you'll notice it both says Thomas, and if, I did it there, it changes everywhere. So great. So hopefully now we know what two-way data binding is and how we can easily, use that feature in Angular. I'll go ahead and see you in the next video.